Hello and welcome to my trophy guide for the first DLC of Final Fantasy XVI Echoes of the Fallen. In this guide I will show you how to obtain all 6 trophies in the easiest and most time-efficient way possible. To follow this guide you will have to reach certain requirements which I lay out in the extra episodes for this DLC. I will also not go into detail about enemies we have encountered before and focus on new fights and mechanics. Basically, I will just pick up where my previous guide ended. After opening the game, you will be back at the hideaway. I will now complete the side quests Cut from the Cloth, Phoenix Heal Thyself, Where There's a Will, and Priceless. Those are not part of the DLC, but they have to be completed to access it. And since they weren't part of our previous playthrough, I wanted to still include them for completeness sake. Once we are done with this setup, we can talk to Karen, which starts the DLC and immediately unlocks the trophy, A Crystal Darkly. I will also use that opportunity to stock up on potions and strength tonics.
Here's the aqueduct. We need to find our stonewort. Yote mentioned blood-red petals. Just my luck. I won't be picking anything till they're gone. There's only one thing for it. Here it is. Better collect as much as I can before reinforcements arrive. All right.
Sell anything today?
Let's hope the draper has Hortense's cloth. This is no time to ride. Let's go.
That damn bird's a menace!
Straight home now.
She meant nothing by it.
I'll deal with the bird lover. You take the handsome one, killer.
That's that done then.
Lady Hortense said she'd give us our dresses.
Ready, go? Eyes peeled, Joshua.
Quiet. There it is.
For House Rossfield. Not here.
Run like the wind.
Unwavering will and an unbreakable bond.
Do you really think we're strong enough?
To save the world? Of course. We've overcome Father's political enemies. Of that I'm less certain. Especially knowing what we know now. What Mother was truly capable of. But perhaps these bands would have helped.
It's just back there.
Let's hope one of the gardeners knows where to find snow daisies.
Say what you will. Lady Karen is secret.
The Dominion's all but done for.
Then it's lucky we stayed here.
Is that shouting I heard from the barracks?
Do you think he was the only one who survived?
Faster!
The meadows are vast. Where do we even start?
Yote mentioned the coastline. We can start there. Look, brother. See them? What do you see, boy? Let's hope this is the last one. Only one way to find out.
It's a dangerous world out there. You'll not find a better price than that. You're rubbing me blind, you know. Clive.
We now simply want to follow the story markers, which will have us pursue a bunch of troublemakers. There will be 2 encounters on our way, which feature a bighorn type miniboss. Nothing we are not already familiar with.
If those men were selling dusk crystals, I think it's unlikely that they will risk returning to Port Isolde.
Which means this might be our only chance of catching them. Where are they?
Still some distance ahead, I'd wager. They were making a good pace.
Come on. They're no good to us dead.
Lead the way, brother.
So the bandits haven't found them either. There's still time. No need to ride from here.
So, Lord Rosfield sent his self-looks, did he?
I'll carve you like a suckling pig and feed you to your fucking dogs!
Kind of you to think of him.
Farewell!
After them. If they reach the swamps, we'll never pick up their trail.
Yeah!
There was something odd about those 3. They seemed less like merchants and more like...
Charlatans? One might argue that a merchant is naught but a mummer without his motley.
Then why am I not amused? Run like the wind. They wouldn't risk stopping at Martha's Rest, would they?
Not if they hope to pass unnoticed.
Then we'd better stick to the swamps.
All right, lads. I think we finally lost them.
Then think again. This shouldn't take too long.
Next up, we fast travel to the dim and make our way to the tower. On the way, we will encounter some goblins. Note that we are inside a blighted zone, meaning that we cannot make use of any iconic feat or ability or use any form of magic. That does not make the fight any more difficult, only more annoying, as it will take more time to take out the enemies by just spamming square. Afterwards, we will be able to enter the main dungeon of this DLC, the Sage Spire, which also unlocks the trophy, The Only Way Is Up.
They're even uglier up close.
I'll manage.
What?
In here we now encounter lots of enemies that we are already familiar with. As I said, I will not go over basic battle strategies for them, as I have already extensively done so in my main guide. I will of course still lead you through all new and unique battles. As for strength tonics, there are way more than 4 major battles in this dungeon. However, just the final phases of the final boss will already take roughly 10 minutes to defeat. Just keep all your tonics for that fight. After the first 2 battles, we want to open a chest nearby that reward us with the bit 1 out of 6, the Escapement Bit. These bits are accessories and we have to pick up all of them for a trophy. During this encounter, we will be presented with a new possible spell for spellcasters, called Hearthflame. Enemies under its influence will deal passive damage to you when hit by your melee attacks. Since it can only be used on trash mobs, this effect does not matter at all, as we take them all out with Zantetscan or other abilities anyways. What does matter is that it also effectively gives them a second health bar, which means you might not actually one-shot them with Zantetscan.
crystals everywhere.
Well, that's one mystery solved.
But there's no mother crystal.
Yet. We still have plenty of tower to explore. I know that voice. Come on.
Here we face the first boss, Sigma, which is also a new unique enemy. It has several moves to watch out for, so let me walk you through them. It will always open the fight by using Ballistic Kick. This has the boss jump and Performer Kick, which it always follows up with an explosion. There is an opening after both the kick as well as the explosion part of the attack. Now let's go over its regular attacks. It has two variations of 2 attack combos that both leave it with an opening afterwards. The only other unnamed attack is Magic Blast, that does not give you an opening and can be followed up by another move. Next up is its Colossal Blow attack. This simply spawns several circles on the ground which will explode after some time. It does give you a small opening as it spawns the circles, but only if you are already close to the boss. Afterwards it can go right into its next move. Lastly, it will use its strongest attack, Fulmination, once it reaches roughly half health. During this attack you cannot reach it and have to wait until it stops dispensing projectiles in all directions. The final part of this attack is basically a stronger ballistic kick, after which it is open for several seconds. Eventually it will go over to phase 2. There is no indication for this other than its attacks. First of all, its ballistic kick is no longer followed up by an explosion and gives you no opening at all. In fact, the only openings during phase 2 are after its regular attack combos, which it can now perform after most of its special moves. There will also still be a small opening if it uses Fulmination again. It also learns a new move called Plasmonic Pulse, which only has it punch the ground really hard to create a shockwave around it.
Finished.
After defeating the previous boss, we are rewarded with the Fallen Enforcer Reforged, which is more powerful than our current weapon, so go ahead and equip it. The next section again has us go through several lesser enemy encounters. We will also encounter a Chimera and a double Avis mini-boss fight. Neither of them feature any new moves or mechanics, so I will see you after defeating the 2 Avis.
If this is like every other fallen ruin,
then there'll be a lift.
onward and upward. Any idea what those are?
They seem to be containers of some sort. Or perhaps...
Cages. Like some sort of twisted menagerie. But why here?
Wait, they're still alive.
If this tower is more than 15 centuries old.
That device. It glows just like the doors.
Here we want to open another chest to obtain bit 2 out of 6, the Nourishment Bit. Then enter the next room to find our next new enemy type, the Omicron mini-boss. This enemy might seem annoying at first due to its extreme speed and maneuverability. However, it actually has generous openings after basically all of its regular attacks. It can occasionally combo them up, but this should not be a particularly difficult fight for you, especially since none of these moves are difficult to dodge either. Its first major attack is called Shock Strike and simply has it attack the ground to create an area around it which explodes after a few seconds. It barely gives you an opening during and after the attack, so I recommend you just avoid it. About halfway through the fight, it can also start using Septatonics. This has it perform a flurry of strikes towards you, which also creates projectiles to hit you from a distance. It is not difficult to dodge and gives you a decent opening afterwards. Defeating this enemy also rewards you with bit 3 out of 6, the Bombardment Bit.
Farewell.
The next section features only another giant type mini-boss. I will see you afterwards.
Yes, but of how many?
That depends on how determined they were to conceal their activities. This is all too easy. If the tower is in control, why not simply disable the lift?
What are you suggesting, Joshua?
That it's hurting us. There's an entire fleet.
I wonder if any are still capable of flight.
Mid will want to see this.
Activity detected in Hangar Bay. Analyzing Aegis units.
We're being watched. Let's show them what we're capable of.
After taking down this enemy, you want to make sure to open the nearby chest which contains bit 4 out of 6, the Disengagement Bit. Then enter the next room, which features our next boss, Angra Mainyu. While this is technically just a plague-type enemy remodeled, its fight is actually significantly changed. Just like its regular counterpart, it can shoot a laser beam from its eye, after which it gives you an opening. But that is already where the similarities end. It will mainly use two major attacks throughout this fight, the first of which is All Eyes. This move can actually do multiple things. It will always spawn 5 after images that can either fire continuous laser beams or cause several large explosions. Both moves have a chance of overwhelming your ring of timely evasion, but you will be fine most of the time. You will also be presented with a large opening afterwards. Its other major attack is called Roulette. This has it stay in the middle of the arena while starting to spin a roulette that covers the entire battlefield. When it stops, you are supposed to position yourself within one of the safe spaces, but you can also just dodge the explosion outside of them. This attack gives you a massive opening to attack the boss while it spins the roulette, as well as a large opening afterwards. It has one additional major attack which it rarely uses, called Quakejar. This just causes several explosions around the arena, which are easy to avoid but also do not grant you an opening. Similar to the Sigma boss, this enemy will slightly change up its attacks after reaching half health. From now on, when casting Roulette, several after images will spawn and attack you. Additionally, when using All Eyes, it can follow that up by casting Eyes on Me. This has its after images fire rotating lasers while the boss itself throws some electric orbs at you. Afterwards, it summons 9 after images to shoot a wall of projectiles at you. The lasers are the only tricky part, and you get a large opening after the boss throws the electric orbs, as well as after the attack is over. Lastly, when casting All Eyes, it can instead also cast Akamana. This has a total of 5 after images fly across the battlefield while deploying circles around the arena, which will deal constant damage to you before launching a large projectile. The boss is completely open while the after images bombard you, and gives you another opening after the final projectile. This next section of enemies features no new encounters. After taking them out, we want to ascend the next set of stairs and open another chest to obtain bit 5 out of 6, the Assailment Bit. This accessory is actually quite powerful as it lets us deal a lot more damage during enemy staggers, so I recommend using it instead of your Genji gloves. Then follow me through the next encounters, which only have us deal with another Panther miniboss.
flesh.
I'm beginning to think this whole tower is alive.
Here we encounter another Minotaur-type miniboss. This guy mainly has a lot of health and is not really worth any further notice. Defeating it will reward you with the final bit, the Revivement Bit, which will unlock the Bit Fit trophy. That accessory makes your limit break stronger and also lets us survive a deadly attack as long as we have at least one limit gauge section filled. We will be using this later, but for now the Assailment Bit is a little bit more useful. The remaining segment only has us take out more enemies, which include a Flan-type miniboss, as well as an encounter with 2 Omicron at once. Switch out your Assailment Bit for the Revivement Bit after taking them out, and I will see you then.
Diverting reactor power.
I think it's getting ready to receive us.
Ah, there's another one of those devices.
This truly was the work of the Fallen.
Then they were closer to attaining godhood than we ever imagined.
No wonder Ultima struck them down. They built an army.
There. Now's our chance.
We now only have to take out the final boss of this DLC, Omega. It will always start the fight by using Delta Attack. This will spawn a triangle shape around you that will follow your movement until it eventually explodes. You can easily dodge this if you just keep moving. Its most common move is the Wave Cannon, which has a lengthy wind-up, is easily dodged and gives you a large opening during and after the move. It only has a few regular moves which are not dangerous at all. Only note that it will always reposition itself after using its sweeping attack. Lastly, it can use ML Wave Cannon, which is just several wave cannons next to each other. It will still be open during and after the attack, but cannot be exploded as much as the regular version, since it will mostly use this move when further away from you.
Is it over? Please tell me it's over.
Data assessment complete. Recalculating threat level. Weapon routines authorized. Rerouting core power to Omega 1.
Not yet. And what makes you say that?
Those new arms, for one.
Convinced.
After reaching roughly 80% health, it will transition into phase 2, which drastically changes its behavior. It will always open up by using maximum overdrive, which has it wildly flailing around the battlefield. This is not very difficult to dodge, but most abilities will definitely miss if used during this attack. The boss will always be open for several seconds afterwards though. Omega does have several regular attacks, but I recommend just focusing on its bigger moves, since they are much easier to anticipate. Most of its regular moves also have it move around wildly, which has it constantly move in and out of your ability's range. When casting Ion Efflux, it creates a massive shower of projectiles. This too leaves the boss open as it's casting, while the projectiles themselves are not particularly noteworthy. It can still use Delta Attack and ML Wave Cannon, which have not changed and the latter of which can still be easily taken advantage of. After reaching about 60% health, it will use Pentacrator, which does not do much by itself, but indicates reaching phase 3. From now on, it will be even more aggressive and get even more new moves. The first of which it will cast right away. Atomic Ray has two elements to it. It will spawn several circles on the ground around it, while continuously creating 4 shockwaves emanating from its arms. The before mentioned circles get larger with each shockwave and erupt after the 4th one. This move technically gives you a massive opening as you can keep attacking between the shockwaves, and you get a large opening afterwards. However, I recommend only using Odin's abilities or using abilities during Rift Slip, since accidentally getting hit will have you take a lot of damage. Next up we have Hyperextension. This creates 2 powerful blasts that will drag you along while dealing continuous damage if they make contact with you. This is its most dangerous attack and has me get saved by the Revivement Bit during this battle. The boss does give you a large opening afterwards though. Lastly, you can ignore its regular attacks if you don't want to make it even more complicated, but there is one combo which ends in it slamming its arms into the ground twice, as well as a move which creates a circle around it which erupts after a few seconds. Both of these leave it open afterwards. After reaching roughly 40% health, it will use High Maneuvers. This move has it rapidly move through the air before it comes crashing down and leaving behind an array of explosions while being open for a few seconds. It also gains a few more regular moves, but with its move pool already being enormous and its big attacks giving you a lot of openings, I recommend just focusing on those.
Because it's constricting all of creation.
Well then, we'd better kill it quick.
After reaching about 20% health, it will enter its final phase. It will stop moving completely and start using dimensional compression to charge Omega Protocol. This will slowly shrink the battlefield around you until all physical space gets deleted, which will result in a game over. You have exactly 2 minutes to stop it. As this phase drags on, there will be an increasing amount of projectiles spawning all over the place. None of them are particularly dangerous by themselves, but since we want to be extremely aggressive here, you will probably get hit several times. Make sure to keep your health topped off and use your strength tonics here. Defeating Omega Aionios on Final Fantasy mode will unlock the OMG trophy. With all the combat behind us, we now fast travel back to the hideaway where we can forge the Omega Weapon at the Black Hammer. That will unlock the trophy, My Reward is With Me.
Trouble with your gear, or something for you, dear? It'll last you a good while.
Lastly, we only have to complete the DLC's main quest to unlock the Repercussion trophy. That wraps up the guide for the Echoes of the Fallen DLC. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it, as I will continue creating guides for upcoming DLCs as well as other games. Also feel free to check out the ones I have already completed. With that, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one.